All right, this is similar figures for day 2. Before I taught you about just the scale factor, which is A over B, today I'm going to introduce when you're talking about your ratio for area, that means that you're just going to square the number. When you talk about the ratio for volume, that means you're going to cube the number. So let's go ahead and get started with number 1. With number 1, when they tell you the scale factor, that first number is always going to represent your A. The second number will always represent your B. So the very first one that we have here is surface area. Surface area. Area means that I need to be squaring it. We also have volume. With this number, that means we're going to be cubing it. So looking at the very first one, when I have a scale factor of 1 over 2, in order to change that to area, that means that what I need to do is take that number and square it. So when I square it, 1 times 1 gives me 1, 2 times 2 gives me 4. So when I'm talking about area, I need to be using this number. When I talk about volume, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cube the number. So here I would be talking about 1 times 1 times 1, because that means 3 times, which is 1. 2 times 2 gives me 4, times 2 gives me 8. So these are the 2 scale factors that I will be using for this problem. Now, for surface area, it says that I need to have 90. So I'm going to put 1 over 4 is equal to 90 over the number I don't know. When I do that, all I'm going to do is cross multiply. When I cross multiply, I have 1 times x, which is 1x, and 90 times 4, which is 360. Remember, every time that you have a 1 in front of an x, that means that it's going to be there no matter what. So my answer for this one is 360. All right, for volume, remember I said it was 1 over 8. So I'm going to use 1 over 8 is equal to 216 over the number I don't know. Again, I'm going to cross multiply. Here I have 1 times x, or I could just say x, and then 216 times 8, which gives me 1728, and that's my answer. All right, for number 2 says that I have a scale factor of 4 to 9. So when I transfer this into surface area, remember that means squaring it. So 4 squared over 9 squared. 4 times 4 gives me 16. 9 times 9, 81. When I want to change this to volume, I'm going to use 4 to the 3rd power, 9 to the 3rd power. 4 times 4 gives me 16, so 16 times 4 gives me 64. 9 times 9 gives me 81. 81 times 9 gives me 729. So when I do this problem, keep in mind that it says surface area is going to be 256. So I'm going to use that number here, and I'm also going to use this 1536. So I'm going to put my area, which is 16 over 81, is equal to 256 over x. And for volume, I'm going to do 64 over 729 is equal to 1536 over x. Because again, remember, my surface area said 256, my volume said 1536. So now all I need to do is cross multiply. Here I have 16 times x, which is 16x, and then I have 256 times 81, which gives me 2736. Of course, after that, I'm just going to divide by 16 in order to get x by itself. So x is equal to 1296. And then for this one, again, I'm going to do the same exact thing. 64 times x is 64x. 1536 times 729 gives me 1119744. And then I'm going to take this number and divide it by 64. That gives me x is equal to 17,496. And those are my answers. All right. It works the same way when you have actual solids that they're giving you. You need to first focus on what it is that they're asking you to find. For this one, it's telling me volume because I have the V here. Remember, volume again means I need to cube the number. So you see how I have this 5 and 7? I'm going to take that 5 and 7 and I'm going to use it. So 5 over 7, remember I'm cubing it because it said volume. So 5 times 5 gives me 25. 25 times 5 gives me 125. 7 times 7 gives me 49. 49 times 7 gives me 343. Now, remember again, they put the 5 with this volume of 125. So I'm going to do that. The 7 goes with x because that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to put 125 over x. After that, all I need to do is cross multiply. 125 times x, 125x. 125 times 343, 42,875. Divide it by 125 gives me 343. And that's my answer. For number 4, for this one, they're looking for area. Area means we need to square it. So I'm going to take the 2 and the 6 and I'm going to square that. So 2 squared, 6 squared. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 6 times 6, 36. Now, the 2 goes with the 64. 6 goes with x. So I'm going to put 64 over x. Cross multiply. 4 times x, 4x. 64 times 36, 2304. Divide by 4 gives me an answer of 576. All right. Sometimes they're also going to ask you for specific ratios. When they do that, you need to be careful with what it says. This one's asking for surface area. Surface area means that I need to square it. So I'm going to take my two numbers and I'm just going to square them. So 1 squared over 3 squared. So my ratio is 1 times 1, which is 1. And then 3 times 3 gives me 9. So it's 1 to 9. And that's my answer. Now, sometimes they'll also ask you for the ratio, but they're asking you for your actual number that you used. This one, they're asking you for the ratio, but they're saying that this is surface area. Remember, surface area, that means I squared the number. The opposite of squared means square root. So I'm looking for the square root of 100 over the square root of 400. The square root of 100 is just 10. The square root of 400 gives you 20. So my size would have had to been 10 to 20. For your assignment for today, I need you guys to complete these 6 questions listed here. Within the notes, if you have any questions, please make sure you message me. Have a good day.